Shana Tova. Along with Susan Arovis, I'm Scott Musoff, and we're proud and privileged to be co-presidents of Kol Ami. Last year, following Rosh Hashanah services, my wife Cindy and I headed over to the family service. With our kids being teenagers, we hadn't been to the family service in several years, so it was especially nice to see the smiling young families as they sauntered into the sanctuary. And then Rabbi Shira began with a story about a young shepherd boy who wandered into a synagogue where everyone was praying. But the boy didn't know any of the prayers or even how to read, so he started to just say the Hebrew alphabet, Aleph, Bet, Gimel, and so on, over and over again, louder and louder. And when the boy's father got embarrassed and others wanted to throw the boy out, the rabbi interjected and exclaimed, "Stop. That boy shouting the Aleph Bet was more precious than any of the prayers said here today. His prayer went straight up to heaven." That happens to be one of my favorite stories for a couple of reasons. The first, I can't carry a tune at all. I'm nearly tone deaf, and many of the prayers I don't have memorized, so I can relate to that shepherd boy. And I have a confession to make. I often, especially when sitting up here on the bima, lip sync so as not to throw everyone else off. So there you have it, another lip syncing scandal. Here at Kol Ami, you have the Milli Vanilli of temple presidents. But the main reason I love that story is that it shows that our connection to God, to Judaism, and especially to Kol Ami is not about what prayers we have memorized or how well we sing, at least I hope. This story about the shepherd boy aptly describes the openness we are so proud of here at Kol Ami. There are so many ways to connect with Kol Ami and to have a Kol Ami experience. Certainly worship is one and an important one, and we're all here today for that reason. But there is so much more. People often ask me what I've learned over the past years being president. Well, based on the comments last night, one thing I learned is that the thermostat in here has only two settings, too hot and too cold. But I also learned how much is actually going on here at Kol Ami, every month, every week, every day. For example, it could be our innovative Cineplex programming that ranged last year from the studying of Jews in Spain to a mock trial of Joseph, our latest of biblical heroes to be tried at Kol Ami, or the opportunity to study James Baldwin, or to hear from the youngest person who marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge on Bloody Sunday, March 7, 1965, when a posse of state police attacked those civil rights demonstrators on their march from Selma to Montgomery, or perhaps going on the Kol Ami civil rights trip, or going on one of the upcoming trips to Israel or India, or helping those less fortunate than us, such as the work we do at the Coachman Center. We're celebrating Israel's 70th birthday. We're standing up to Israel for egalitarian prayer at the wall. Or taking a bus to Washington, D.C. with multi-generational Kol Ami members to stand with those students from Parkland in seeking to stop gun violence. Or attending our confirmation service, where amongst the beautifully written student prayers and songs, one of our courageous students spoke personally about his camp friend being a victim of that senseless shooting. Or perhaps something much lighter, like going to a Broadway show, or even playing in the weekly Mahjong games here at Kol Ami. That's what Kol Ami is about, and so much more. You may ask, what makes some of these experiences Jewish? What makes them Kol Ami? After all, you can do some of these things on your own. But doing it here at Kol Ami is about a connection to community, to our history, our culture, our values of being modern Jews. It's our unique ability here at Kol Ami to combine tradition with contemporary ways to form a welcome and opening community that continues in our 95th year to provide a link from generation to generation. It's being part of this community. It's about being part of something bigger than the individual. And I have to tell you, with everything going on in the world, it feels good, really good, to be part of something bigger than yourself. You may not be hearing that from Washington, D.C. or from the headlines you read, but being here today, or any day, is a testament to the fact that the ties that bind us together are stronger than the forces outside trying to separate people. And we here at Kol Ami stand as a bulwark against the waves of divisiveness, the waves of individualism over community, the waves of assimilation, and the waves of apathy. So whether you are here 2 days a year or 2 days a week or more, as we celebrate our 95th anniversary throughout this upcoming year, I encourage you, I implore you to wade a little deeper into all that Kol Ami has to offer. be that a lecture, a Friday night service, a Saturday morning study at the Lift, one of our many social justice or Be the Light initiatives, perhaps a trip led by the clergy, attending the retreat, the gala, or even a Broadway show, or celebrating or memorializing some life cycle event, I urge you to find a way, whether large or small, to join us this upcoming 95th year as we honor our past, celebrate the present, and imagine our future. Shana Tova, wishing you, your families, and our country a sweet, joyous, and peaceful New Year. And now I have a few brief announcements. And I'll try and keep them brief. We're fortunate to have so many people contribute to our services, and we'd like to convey our appreciation to all of them who contributed so meaningfully today and last night. They're going to be recognized by name in the next edition of The Connection, and I urge you all to take a look at that. Talking about generation to generation, all of those young and not so young voices that joined up here on the bima to blow the shofar, sing, pray, and read Torah and Haftorah. It was really amazing. Again, this year we have a medical booth in our gallery for anyone needing medical assistance. We thank our congregant doctors that are coordinating and supporting this important initiative. And we hope you saw the I Am Kol Ami photo exhibit in the atrium. We would love more congregants to participate in this meaningful project and invite you to take one of the flyers available near the exhibit to join in our display. We once again have available Hate Has No Home Here signs. Please take a sign as you leave today and proudly display it in your yard or your window. It was so wonderful last year to drive around Westchester and see so many signs popping up. Food bags provided by Sisterhood will also be available as you leave the sanctuary. Please remember to bring them back full of non-perishable items to Yom Kippur morning services, when our youth will work with the Food Bank of Westchester to sort the donated food. The Food Bank of Westchester, our sponsoring partner in our own food pantry, counts on our Kol Ami drive more than any other to replenish their supplies. So we thank you in advance for giving so generously. There will be a family service today at 3:15 with a reception to follow at 4 p.m. We invite all families with young children to join us. And for those of you who have children participating in today's youth service, as tempted as you might be to go straight home, please pick them up at the gym across the parking lot once the service concludes. It looks, based on the weather outside, that the community tashlich will probably not occur, but we will be sending around tashlich meditations and remind you that you may do tashlich on your own at any time during these 10 days. Services will take place tomorrow from 10 a.m. to noon with a reception to follow. And on behalf of Susan and myself, we wish you and your families a new year filled with reflection and renewal. Shana Tova.
We are a full-service community.